Welcome to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. I'm your host, Shannon Ables, and whether you're listening on your commute, exercising, working in the garden, or sitting down with a hot cup of tea or a café au lait, thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Welcome to the 223rd episode of The Simple Sophisticate, our last episode in Season 4. And I have an episode for you today that will hopefully ensure you have a very strong start to the fall season. We're going to talk about 23 ways to have a great start this fall. Now, before I get into that list, today's Petite plaisir is a simple little technological doohickey. I don't know how else to call it. That it's something I just have to have now. And I don't know why I didn't have one previously. But anyway, it was brought to my attention on my travels that this is a must-have. It's fewer than $15. And if you use a cell phone or an iPad in your daily life and you're not connected to an outlet, this is definitely something to make sure you always have, especially when you travel. But I'm already giving it away, basically. But we'll talk about more. We'll talk about that more at the end of today's episode. But let's get into our topic today. So I want to begin with a quote from Porter Magazine. It was shared a few years ago. I love that magazine. It comes out seasonally. I've already shared that as a Petite plaisir here on the podcast. But Lucy Yeomans, editor of that magazine, she shared a few years ago, she shared her thoughts on the French concept of la rentrée. She states, the French have a special word for it, la rentrée. In English, it is simply referred to as back to school. However, we choose to call the September post-vacation return, and no matter how far our school days are behind us, few would deny that this really is the moment in the year that shouts new beginnings, ushering in a renewed sense of resolve and purpose that has far more potency than any January resolution. As grown-ups, the brand new pencil case and shiny new pair of school shoes that signal a fresh start are replaced by the new season updates that we hope will deliver much more than just the latest look, the confidence-boosting coat, that uplifting new shade of lipstick, but it really is the change of attitude that matters most, the yearning to be smarter, more balanced. In short, the eternal quest to finally get life right. And she encompasses, I think, this feeling, at least the feeling that I have when I step into fall or step into September as we shift out of our summer schedule. And I do remember as a kid being so excited to go back to school and doing the back to school shopping and getting my backpack and all my book supplies all organized. And I would make a list, even as a young girl, of things that I needed to do to get done, to be prepared and off on the right foot each year. And each year it gradually evolved, and I still make this list to this day. In fact, that's what I'm going to share with you today. In fact, this list is something that I've shared over the past few years, but every year I tweak it and add on to it. And this is the largest list, but also the most refined list that I've come up with, and I've never put it in a podcast episode. So I thought, this is a great time to put in a podcast episode. So here it is. Let's chat about this. The attitude we approach anything with undeniably plays a role in how successful the endeavor we are embarking on will play out. And while here in the States, businesses don't shut down entirely for the month of August or July as well sometimes as they do in France, when Labor Day travel winds down, signifying the unofficial end to summer, there is a shift in everyday routines. The pace changes. The tourists often go home in those cities or towns that have a huge summer tourist season, and it feels anew, basically. Expectations shift at school and at work, and there is a mental shift that is expected to occur. This French expression that Lucy Yeomans talks about, la rentrée, is loosely translated to see you in the fall. Literally, it translates to at the return. If you say, la rentrée. But it is understood that September is the month at which all of us will return from our extended vacations, from that respite that we've had from work or school, and back into our everyday expectations and regular activities that occur those 10 or 11 months out of the year. Now, studies have shown repeatedly that taking the time literally to get away from work, to get away from that daily grind that we do the majority of the year, we put down the technology and we truly allow ourselves to be on vacation can actually have very high beneficial effects on our brain. And when we allow our brains to rest and think freely, problems magically seem to have solutions. Creative ideas spring up like daffodils in early spring, and we are renewed and re-energized. So there's no wonder the French celebrate the return from their vacation. September and thereafter offers an opportunity to put our best self forward, to, as the quote we just talked about states, finally get it right. And while nothing will ever be perfect, improving and fine-tuning will always continue to bring different results than if we did the same thing over and over again. So let's get into this list. I have organized it in to different arenas of our lives. So I've organized it into health, wardrobe, beauty, organization, sanctuary, and regular balance and tranquility. Now, in some of these arenas, things may be moving very well for you and you don't need to address them, but perhaps there are others that you know you could improve. So home in on where those areas are that you want to improve and take a day or a few hours in a quiet, relaxing setting to curate a life that excites you to wake up and enjoy every single day. Let's get into this. So our first section, our first arena is going to be our overall health. And this is going to be both our physical and mental, which involves our peace of mind as well, to reduce that stress level. So the first thing I want to address is simply some questions we can ask ourselves. Ask ourselves two questions. Number one, what has made my life more enjoyable over the past 2 or 3 months, however long you've been outside or beyond your regular schedule on vacation or not at work or not at school? And then the second question is, what routines or habits have made your life easier, healthier, and brought more contentment these past 2 and 3 months? Let me say those two questions again. What has made your life more enjoyable the past 2 or 3 months? And what routines or habits have made your life easier, healthier, and brought more contentment over the last 2 or 3 months? This one will take some time. And I encourage you to take that time to look at this. Be very specific as you can. Because just saying, well, I work out more. Well, why were you able to work out more? Because you probably had energy or more time to do it. Well, what enabled you to have that time, that energy? Did you delegate something? Did you have less work? Probably. But why did you have less work? Maybe there's a way you can tweak how you work when you come back in the fall. So I know our schedule will change when we get back into our routine, but when our schedule changes with the summer months, we unconsciously change our ways of living, ways that we love or not so much, as it will depend upon us, the individual. And I have a feeling, at least if you're anything like me, you're going to have these habits or routines that you get into in the summer that you're going to miss, or that you do miss every time fall starts. And so ask yourself and be honest, is there any way you can bring them into your year-round routine? Can or should you shift your priorities if it indeed is bringing so much joy and satisfaction to your life? Remember, simply because we're used to doing something one way doesn't mean we cannot stop doing it and incorporate something that's more fulfilling. In fact, we actually probably should. So that's number one. I think that's an important one to do first in this list. Take the time to do it. And I think by doing that, you're going to be able to answer some of the following questions and take care of the following tasks that come after this far more simply. All right. So number two in our overall health is create a default capsule weekly menu and establish a food shopping routine or plan. So as you guys know, I have capsule menus for the 4 seasons. In fact, I'm putting up the summer one this week. I know it's end of summer, but I know that there's still some of that summer produce at the markets for 1 more month, and I wanted to bring that to you so you could utilize it. The reason I want you to have a default plan, or at least consider it, is because when that week gets busy and you know you're going to have to do your weekly shopping, you don't have the energy to consider, what do I need in the house? This is just that backup capsule menu that you just pull out of your planner, pull up on your list on your phone and go, okay, I need salmon, I need chicken, I need to make sure I have some lemons, I need some Parmesan, I need my still oats, boom, 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 boom. Those things are going to come back home with you. And if you don't have time to plan that weekly menu, you know this one by heart and you know it will work. It will work. And I have mine in my planner. I've written it out. And sometimes when those weeks get a little bit hairy, I look at it very quickly and I just assess, oh, do I have that in the house? Nope. Oh, I have this one? Yep, cool. I'm going to stop by the grocery store on the way home and I'm going to make sure I have these in the house. Boom. Again, I'm not thinking about necessarily the meal. I'm thinking about what I know. If I have these things, I'll be able to figure it out when I get home. So you're just reducing the brain power that you don't have at that particular moment to ensure you're eating well, have the food that you need in the house. And then also think about your shopping approach each week. We've talked about this before as well. You're probably going to want to do your weekly shopping at least once for that weekly capsule menu. But there are going to be times throughout the week that you go and get your bread or you go and get your farm fresh eggs and those are going to be maybe different times during the day or the week because you have different markets or your schedules changes or whatever. Maybe you get to go to a particular town one day a week outside of your regular schedule. And that's when you're going to go get that fresh produce at that particular fruit or vegetable stand. This is a fun one. I know some people disagree about grocery shopping, but I have come to truly love grocery shopping. And the more I enjoy stepping into my kitchen and making the different things that I'm making, I love going grocery shopping. And I like to keep it kind of short and not these big, long lists. So yeah, I do my weekly shopping either Saturday or Sunday, but I'll go on Tuesday evening and pick up a nice fillet of salmon. Or to the local produce stand and see what he just got in from local farmers and say, that might be a great vegetable or a side dish. And to me, that's fun. And that's really what my vodcast is going to be about. That's going to start on the 8th of September, but helping and inspiring you to enjoy stepping back into that kitchen. And so be thinking about, okay, what works well with your schedule? When would be a potentially good time for you to enjoy this experience and not feel rushed and harried? Okay, I've talked about that one too much. Let's move on. Number 3, talking about your epicery or your pantry. Stock it up. As I, work around my kitchen, I was working with lentils the other day and I realized, I need to get some more lentils, make sure I always have lentils in the pantry. And back in 2016, I made a very detailed list of the items to have in your epicery or your pantry. These are the stocked items. These are not the capsule menu items. These are the things to always have on hand so you can make whatever meal you want to make. And I have a list of 37 items that you probably already have most of them already in your pantry. We're talking garlic, we're talking pepper, we're talking salt, those kind of things. I have a link to it on the show notes so you can check it out. All right, number 4 is plan a regular fitness routine that works with your daily work and or school demands. So that schedule that you're getting back into. And be honest with yourself at what you can achieve. You don't want to create something that's so demanding and daunting that you're exhausted by week 1. You're like, I can't stick to it. Keep it simple, but also efficient. What I mean by that is so you're still doing that strength routine when it works for you, but regularly. You're still doing your aerobics, whatever that aerobic activity is, and you're doing it on a regular basis. So keep it fun, but consistent. All right, number 5, balance your budget and know where you stand financially. So due to your schedule potentially changing, financial expectations will probably change as well based on other activities and routines that you're going to be doing or your family's going to be doing. So know exactly where you are and how much you can spend. This will enable you to do many of the other items on this list with regards to finding that balance and keeping tranquility in your life. So that one's always one to keep in mind because things change. Number 6 is make appointments now. We're talking those health appointments, those appointments that you just the regular checkups to be preventative. So, and you may have already made your 6 month in advance teeth cleaning appointment. Great. But this is the time to be thinking, okay, when do I want to make that annual appointment with my doctor? When can I get that scheduled whatever appointment that I knew my doctor told me I needed to take or make. And now that you know your work schedule, make those appointments, put them in pen, and that way you know they're set and they are going to be something you'll make sure you get done. So that those preventative appointments are done and set, and then you can kind of forget about them because they're in your planner, or they will call and remind you, however your doctor, dentist, or whomever reminds you of your appointment. So that's number 6 in our overall health category. Let's move on to optimal organization. So number 7 is clean your home, office, bedroom, car thoroughly. In other words, any space or place that you use regularly, make sure it's spick and span. Make sure it's, you know where things are and you enjoy stepping into that room. This is also a great way to have a clean slate, and feel like, okay, let's do this. Fresh start. That's number 7. Number 8, purchase any necessary supplies for your office, desk, and or planner. So however you work, wherever you work, whether it's away from your home or in your home, even your home office, assess what you need, what you no longer need, and take stock of that and edit or add however you need. So recently I shared a few weeks ago with my planner, I've upgraded my planner to the classic size. I used to be with the personal size planner, but I upgraded and went back to the classic size planner, and I ordered the Traveler's Leather Notebook, and I am loving it. It fits my life so much better. I can put all my Moleskine journals in there. I can have my daily planner pages from the blog, and it just works very well for me. But I had to take that time to think about it and say, hey, is what I'm doing working? And if it's not, why not? So then what do I need to change it to? So that's the kind of conversation to have with yourself. It's just that assessment. What's working, what's not, let's fix it so we can go forward in a better fashion than we have in the past. That's number 8. Number 9, spruce up and stock up your handbag. Now, this may sound like it should be in the wardrobe section, but your handbag is something that carries all those vital things you need, whether to work, to play, wherever. So whichever handbag you have, maybe you have 2. For example, I have one for work, school, and I have one for outside of school, but I need to make sure that it is stocked up. Do I have my hand lotion? Do I have my Tide to go? Do I have my pen? Do I have business cards? Do I have the right keys? Just making sure that it has everything and that it's also clean, and the things that are in there that don't need to be in there are removed. So just take a few minutes, maybe an hour, however long you need to make that list of, oh, I ran out of this. I need to stock up on that. And just tidy it up. It'll make you feel better when you pick up that handbag as you walk out the door, knowing you don't have to think about whether or not everything's in there that should be in there. So that's number 9. Speaking of wardrobe, that is our next section. So number 10 is to assess your wardrobe. In a week and a half, so on Saturday, September 1st, the Simply Luxurious Life Fall Seasonal Shopping Guide will be posted on the blog. It's not something you have to subscribe to. You just have to visit the blog on that day, and I have a detailed post all about the items to splurge and save on when it comes to the trends of the season. And I also go and I shop for a bunch of hand-picked items that you may be interested in. You can shop directly from the blog. What's important before you read this or read any kind of magazine or book or online website or whatever is to assess what you already have. And I've been doing this already as well. And it's one of those things where you have to remind yourself, is this going to be a year where I do need to bring that many new items in? Are some of my clothing items that I love wearing out? Do I need to either take them to a tailor, or do I need to take them to the dry cleaner, or do I simply need to replace them? And so this is the time to make sure you know what you need so that you don't impulse buy, but also there probably is 1 or 2 items that you want to add to spruce up your fall wardrobe. So that's number 10. And I've included the links to last spring's shopping guide, as well as the Simply Luxurious Life capsule wardrobe boutique, where I keep it up to date seasonally with those just fundamental basic items, from shoes to pants to dresses to camisoles to dresses and jackets, those classics, the classic tote, the khaki trench, all those are in that boutique. And I have a link to that on the blog. the show notes today. So number 11 is, speaking of assessing your wardrobe, take anything to the dry cleaners that you're going to be wearing for the fall. And this includes not just your capsule wardrobe clothing items, but also your coats and anything that you're going to be wearing a lot and you don't have time to take it to the dry cleaners in the fall. All right, so that is for wardrobe. Number 12 is in our new section, our next section, which is beauty. Number 12 is stock up any makeup supplies that are running low. Visit your makeup counter for makeup to try out the new fall products and shades and hues. And this is another thing to think about and consider. We talked about this last year, is automate any of those beauty products that you regularly get every, say, 2 months or every 6 months. So, for example, my mascara from Bobbi Brown, I have put that on an automated schedule every 6 months. There's a new mascara that comes my way from Bobbi Brown. I also have my moisturizer comes from Neiman Marcus, and it comes every 2 months. And when I do that with Neiman Marcus, I actually get a discounted price, which is awesome. So if there's anything you regularly buy and you're going to need, figure out what it is that would work best for you, and you might just save some money along the way. All right, number 13, confirm and or schedule your regular hair appointment. The best way, as we've talked about, is simply to schedule on the way out the door of your previous appointment, but maybe that didn't work out this time. So make sure that your next appointment is set and made again so you don't have to worry about it or think about it. And 14, on a similar note, is plan or schedule any beauty routines or appointments. And this is from the beauty routines that you do at home, your pedicures, your manicures, to the seasonal facials at your local spa, to not only give yourself that luxurious hour or so to relax, but also help your skin. When we tend to these appointments, when we make them concrete, we set them in stone, so to speak, not only are we going to help ourselves feel and look better, but we're also going to find a balance in our everyday routine. So if we have that seasonal facial, it's just something to look forward to, somewhat like a reward. It's not something we do all the time, but we at least know it's going to happen, and it is something that is going to be good for us, but also going to feel good. So that's number 14. Number 15, we're in the arena of creating regular balance and tranquility. This has to do with our routines and our rituals, because in order to have energy to do what we have to do, we need to take care of ourselves in those other moments. And we need to have those other moments regularly. So here's number 15. Stock up or put together a home pampering kit. I'm talking the bubble bath. I'm talking the chocolate truffles, the wine, the candles, the music, whatever makes you feel relaxed. There will be days when your heels are ready to be taken off, your mind is a jumble, and emotional stamina has been exhausted. Be prepared in advance and have what you need to relax, stocked and ready to go. This also makes sure or helps so that you don't make any impulse purchases that you regret later. Have this ready now so that when those days happen, you can just come home and relax. Number 16 is to, if you're someone who works from home, is to make sure you have a travel coffee or tea mug that you like, that works, that holds the water. Or if you're not someone who drinks coffee or tea, a great water bottle that you can take with you all the time. You can buy these for $15, $20, a good one, and just make sure that you always have them with you when you go to your meetings, any lectures, or you're commuting or traveling. Having that moisture, that water, I especially like having my water with me whenever I travel. This is something that's key. Just that regular routine of having that hydration. And then number 17 is create a morning routine to look forward to and get the right tone set for the day. Now, I've included a very specific post about how to start the day smart, and I'll leave a link to that on today's show notes. You can check it out. But it has to do with the have-tos, making sure you're eating a regular breakfast that fuels you up, that tastes good, but also a morning that doesn't feel rushed. Because if you feel rushed going out the door, you're going to carry that energy into the rest of your day. So again, I'll leave that link to 11 ways to start your day smart on the show notes today. Moving on to number 18, on the flip end of our day is to create a bedtime ritual. The amount of sleep we receive each night is a strong determiner in the day we will have. So be cognizant to the small details that you have control over. You might be surprised of the significant benefits that you will reap each evening when you turn in at a regular time. A few things to try. Remove the television and or the technology, especially your phone. Light a soothing scented candle that is either lavender or chamomile, jasmine or sandalwood. Also, make sure you have a journal to write in. Write in your gratitude journal or a journal that just lets you, put your thoughts on a page. Maybe meditation in the evening is something you want to do, or simply read a book. And make sure you have that book available, whether you check it out or go buy it. Make sure you have that book available to you when you turn in. So that's number 18. Create a bedtime ritual that you really look forward to. 19. Order or check out or put on hold reading material to enjoy. So speaking of having that book on the bedside table, I thoroughly look forward to this time of the day when I have my book in the bedroom. It's not one I usually take with me or anything, so it's only going to be read when I go to bed. And I love that time when I can snuggle up and read it. Right now I'm reading Agatha Christie's autobiography, and I love it. It's something that I can read a few pages and enjoy it, but don't feel I have to read till the end of the chapter because I can pick it up very easily the next morning or the next day. And it's just something, again, that you look forward to. So as we go into the fall season, there'll be a lot of books that are going to be coming out in the fall, and maybe there are already books that you have an eye on. This might be a great time for you to either go check them out from the library or see if they're not available, put them on hold so that you will have other books down the road so that you always have something to read. All right. And number 20, we mentioned it a little bit earlier with Create a Bedtime Ritual, is to pick up a journal. The daily ritual of writing in a gratitude journal or simply a journal is a simple idea to end the day on a positive note. And even if you've had one of those days, there really are things you can find to be grateful for. I have a link to a list of things to help you find to be grateful for if you are ever at a loss there on the show notes. Simply just taking note of any positive events or simply events that didn't happen. The car didn't break down can be a wonderful reminder that things are going better than we might have first thought. So that's number 20. And now let's move on to talking about our sanctuary. So creating a welcoming sanctuary. Number 21 is simply visit your local nursery. Now's a great time to find some great deals on perennial plants. I go and buy a lot of hostas this time of year if they still have them. Usually they don't, but sometimes they do. And then you put them in the ground for next year and they come up even bigger and better than they did that previous season. And I don't know about you, but my pots and the flowers that I put in my pots way back in April, May, they're tired and we've had some extreme heat. So now's a great time to put the fall colors into your pots, onto your front porch, and just spruce up that front porch. You still have about, at least we do, 2 more months of great outdoor deck weather. Just something simple you can do to create a more welcoming atmosphere at your home. And number 22 is look closely at your home's decor. And what I mean by this is, if you are someone who went traveling this summer, or you learned something new about yourself, or you discovered something new about the world, something shifted for you, or you want to bring something new into your life, this is a great opportunity for you to look around your house and say, hey, how can I bring in that particular souvenir? Or how can I change the energy in the house to better reflect who I am and what this family believes in, or how this family is going to live, or how I'm going to live? I've been doing that recently with regards to my own home, thinking about what new prints or pictures I want to frame to put up, thinking about different window coverings, things like that, just so it's more reflective of who I am now. And this is something that changes every single year, some more often than others, or more extensively so. And so it's not something that's going to happen just in a week. And it might. Maybe it's something very simple. Maybe you can, get that painting. Maybe you can go frame that print that you already have and you think, oh, why haven't I framed that sooner? So just look around your house. You want it to be someplace you love stepping into, that's welcoming to guests, and it's not cluttered. Maybe there are some things that no longer speak to you. This is a great time to go to that consignment store and sell it. So just something that we live here in our homes, we get busy, and sometimes we think, oh, I don't have time to do that. But those little changes make a big difference. So that's number 22. And last but not least is our final category, putting it all together. 23 is set your intention. Often when a yoga class begins, one of the reminders at the beginning of the session is to set our intention. What do we wish to receive or achieve by attending class? Do we want to push ourselves further? Do we simply just want to make it through class? Do we want to be more aware of staying focused and letting go of outside thoughts? Whatever our intention is, it is ours. So the question to you and to me at this point, right now, as we step into fall, what will our intention be for the fall season and beyond? Choose one, write it down, and reflect upon it from time to time. Create daily rituals and habits that will help you acquire or attain this intention to make it a reality. And I think you'll be surprised that what you focus on, you are more likely to create, much like the attitude we bring to any new venture or beginning. If we're excited, that excitement spreads and invigorates. But if we're leery or cynical, moments of wonder are less likely to be enjoyed and discovered. So, number 23, set your intention. What will your intention be for this fall season? I hope you have a lovely start to this beautiful, auspicious new season. And I want to thank you for stopping by and tuning in. Before I get to today's Petite Plaisir, I want to let you know that there are a few more posts from the archives and episodes that you may enjoy. I have a post about starting fresh, so 11 steps to a fresh start. I also have the post I mentioned earlier, 11 ways to start your day smart, and a few others. Also, on a podcasting note, this is the last episode of Season 4. We've done 223 episodes. Season 5 is going to kick off on Monday, September 3rd, so in 2 weeks from today. And the new schedule for Season 5 will be shared on the blog, The Simply Luxurious Life, on Monday, August 27th, when we would normally have a podcast episode. We're not going to have a podcast episode next Monday, the 27th, but I am always going to have a motivational post to kick off your work week or your week. Every single Monday, there will at least be a podcast episode or a motivational post, because I know from what you guys have commented, that is something you look forward to and you appreciate. So I'm going to continue to bring that. What I am going to do in very specific detail on the 27th is share with you the calendar of Season 5. I will be doing 30 episodes over the course of the next 12 months, and I want to let you know specifically when they will be. So stop by on the 27th of August, Monday, to see that schedule and check out a new motivating post to start your week. All right, we have a Petite Plaisir to get to, and I'll be right back to do that. This week's Petite Plaisir is something that I should have had with me many, many years ago. But I didn't, but I now do. So what it is simply a mini portable charger. And some of you may be thinking, well, of course, Shannon, why didn't you have it before? Well, this is the thing. I haven't been traveling that much before. And it wasn't until I traveled this summer prior to the trip and I found this portable mini, and it is mini. It's no bigger than a lipstick holder, and it's no taller than my cell phone. It's shorter than my cell phone, actually, that I thought, you know what, that might be a great idea to bring with me. And it was a lifesaver. So this little charger is that backup when your phone has had a very long day. Your iPad, you could charge your iPad as well. There's different chargers for your laptop and all that fun stuff too. But this one is for those mobile devices that we have with us all the time. And for fewer than $15, you can have these mini portable chargers. And I've listed 3. The one I have is a few years old, so I couldn't find it. So I put 3 others up there that look exactly the same, that have great reviews. And like I said, some of them are on sale, but most of them are all under $15. What I love about it is it's a peace of mind. Most of the time, I didn't actually ever need it on my travels. But there was one day when I was going to make a road trip, a couple hours on the road, and then I was going to make sure I documented my visit, and I was going to go to Aix-en-Provence. But then I also had to have my GPS to get home because I needed to know how to get home. And that was all on my phone. And I knew, because I'd be taking tons of pictures and videos, that my phone would be drained. And I was right, but I had my charger. And so I was fine. So it gave me that peace of mind. But, the same thing can happen in a work day. I don't know about you, but it happens to me sometimes. So just having that backup, it's an easy way to charge. They have long batteries. just something to have at the ready in your pocket. So I'll provide a link on the show notes for that, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast 223. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Petite Plaisir, where each week ideas are shared to make the everyday all the more enjoyable. Tune in at the end of each Monday's podcast, where I'll recommend a book, a film, or a recipe, anything that is a simple pleasure to satiate your sophisticated taste. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for a wonderful 4th season, and I look forward to being back on September 3rd to kick off season 5. Thank you for tuning in to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. For more ideas and inspiration throughout the week, stop by the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com, or pre-order Living the Simply Luxurious Life, Making Your Everydays Extraordinary and Discovering Your Best Self, which will be released on November 13th, 2018. You can also pick up my first book, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide, which is now available in paperback as well as ebook and audio versions on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon, or wherever ebook and audiobooks are sold. To stay caught up on the most recent episodes of the podcast, blog posts, and to receive exclusive news as well as an extra dose of inspiration to jumpstart your weekend, subscribe to the Simply Luxurious Life's weekly newsletter, which arrives in your inbox each Friday to enjoy with a hot cup of tea or a morning cup of coffee. Until next Monday, I'm your host, Shannon Ables. Bonne journée.